this afternoon?
I'm just taking another look at you guys' website, and it's just so inspiring. I was just telling Eze the way everything's communicated. It's very clean. The website's well done, easy to navigate. Drops down into really talking about what you guys are doing, and I was just saying, you can tell when you can glean from someone's website sometimes that they care, especially when it's new, right? And the work is new, and the passion is there. So I just, before we even start, I just want to start by saying that to you, Miss Webster, and
thank you all.
Yeah, that passion is exuding from from the site, and every drop and everything is placed where it should be, and it just looks really good. And
shout out to Kennedy. She understands.
Kennedy, that was you, Kennedy?
Yes.
Kennedy Daniel, ladies and gentlemen. Kennedy Daniel.
Kennedy McDaniel.
Yes, Kennedy McDaniel. Thank you. I run our social media, so our website, our Instagram, which is at GWCC Baltimore. We're also on Twitter and Facebook. The challenge has definitely been doing the work, and being here every day, but at the same time documenting it and telling our story and making sure people understand not just what we're currently doing, but our evolution as an organization. So I'm glad that you can kind of see that through our social media.
I totally can.
Definitely.
The vision is clear. It's 1 o'clock. Let me chime in. Anyone who's watching, welcome to the show about tomorrow. I'm Dermell and Eze Jackson is here with us as always, giving fresh perspective, leading us in the wonderful talks. We have our guest today. Eze, I'll let you introduce the guest and get us going.
Yeah, for sure. We are talking to the amazing women of the Greenmount West Community Center Foundation, Ms. Kisha Webster, Akilah McCrorey, and Kennedy McDaniel. As some of you might have chimed in, we already started talking just about looking at their website and all the awesome things that they're doing. I know a little bit about that community, so I wanted to jump right in. Kisha, you all started this in 2016, right?
Yes. It was Nicholas Mitchell and myself. We co-founded the Greenmount West Community Center Foundation, and it was in response to gentrification in the community and the new people being uncomfortable with the people who've been here. And one of the groups of people that they were uncomfortable with were the Black children. And so it was for us, it was like, okay, so what can we do to let people see that our children are not monsters? What can we do to make sure that our children and their families have a safe place to come? And so it was an underused space in the community, and we just, took it and made it ours. And from there, we've evolved from doing, just focus on young people to understanding the importance of focusing on their families and the greater community.
Wow.
Awesome.
I think it's beautiful. I think Eze, our show is always talking about ladies, the future of the Black family in Baltimore. Mm-hmm. That's the energy, the ongoing topic around what we believe should be discussions for individuals like yourselves that are doing the work, that care about Baltimore and the Baltimoreans, care about the folks that are connected, and the well-being, not just for today, but for a better tomorrow. And so the future of the Black family is really important to drive our overall conversations and how we, connect with the community. Could one of you, lead us in talking about how that really works for what you do? How do you connect it to the future of the Black family in Baltimore?
Well, Akilah and Kennedy can definitely take that, because we have those kind of discussions all the time, because I know they want to have children. They want to, be in committed relationships. And so I'm going to let them talk about it.
One thing I feel like that's our strong point is we have so much programming, and it's based off of the likes of our youth. So if our youth like to write music, or if they like cooking, or if they like to do hair, we're like, okay, this is a need, and we make and base our programming off of that. And we also invest in having memorable experiences for them. So a lot of things they've never done, like going to Port Discovery, going to certain amusement parks, going to museums and plays, and we definitely believe in investing in those experiences. And I feel like that's so important at a young age to experience all of that.
Yeah, I think that's amazing because what a lot of times, especially in cities like Baltimore, you have people that grow up and live in a community and they never leave that community. And so their perspective is kind of limited in terms of really not just what the city is, but what the world is, you know what I mean? So I think that's awesome. One of the things that struck me, and I picked up on that, like you could tell me and Dermell were talking about this, you could tell that you're putting things out there and creating programs that are based on what the community wants. Like I saw one thing, you guys are raising money for laundry so that people can, and I didn't, it's crazy how you don't think about the fact that, everybody doesn't have a washer and dryer.
Yeah, I definitely want to speak to that. I mean, we're in a community, like Ms. Kisha said, that, Greenmount West is rapidly gentrifying. That's something that we contend with daily with the people we serve and with ourselves as a staff. And so when we have people who live in $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 condos, and next door are people who don't have access to something as basic as clean clothes or laundry in their community, that's a disparity that we have to address. So that's just an example of what we do at Greenmount West Community Center Foundation, is being that bridge to get the people we serve the resources that they deserve.
Yeah, for sure. I was in your community a few months ago, taking survey of like getting people's input on lighting that could be coming to the area, whatever. And one of the events was like a Saturday morning, like walk through the neighborhood. And it was like, once I got there, I noticed it was mostly people not from the neighborhood. And predominantly white people coming to take this tour through the neighborhood. What are some of the challenges that you all face as an organization that kind of came up to combat gentrification and sort of bring these communities, families, and worlds together?
It's daily conversations. Is the reality of we still live in a world where people sometimes think they're better than others because of their homes, because of their cars, because of how they look. And so that is a daily battle for us. I don't want to say battle. I think it's a daily reminder of the importance of having institutions of our nature in these types of communities. Because when people talk about Baltimore and they talk about Greenmount West, they always give the example that this is one of the best, they talk about vacancy value. Vacancy value in Baltimore in this particular community is seen as a success. They consistently will talk, put it out there in the world that Greenmount West is very integrated. There's just this diverse commitment to each other. And it is still this barrier of those who have and those who don't. Those who live in the big homes and those who live in apartments. It is still a predominantly rental community, yet many of those individuals' voices are not heard. It's still a community that, and Kennedy and Akilah can speak to this, where a lot of people don't realize that their neighbor is suffering. And I think we live in this world where it's okay to mask everything. And a lot of times, I value the people who let you know I'm going through. There is no masking, and they will let us know. And so we value that. I think it helps us. But I know it can make others uncomfortable when they see that people are struggling. So whether they're struggling because of finances, mental health, addiction, it's letting you know what is needed in the community when you see the people around you are suffering. But a lot of people like to just, turn their eye to it. And what we try to do is shine a light. Like, no, we got to take care of each other. That's what we have to do.
Yeah. I love it. And I think it's definitely a good way, like Eze mentioned about the laundry. So, I mean, that's very impactful because, you know, that's a basic need that you could take a stressor off of someone, figuring out how to make that happen for themselves and their kids, their family. That's a beautiful thing. I also noticed, you know, LTYC, shout out to LTYC, all of our sponsors of the show about tomorrow. I work with the School of Urban Social Work at Morgan. Shout out to the Afro and Black Arts District from Baltimore with Love and Epic Fam. LTYC is an arts education nonprofit, and we serve young people with arts education, music, theater, dance, all performing in creative arts. So noticing your arts and chill on your website really, you know, stuck out to me immediately. Tell us more about arts and chill and how folks can be connected to that experience.
Who's gonna take that? Akilah, Kennedy, y'all know.
Yeah, I'm happy to take that. So Greenmount West Community Center, we are located in Station North Arts and Entertainment District. The people we serve, our youth all the way up to our seniors, have an interest in art. They're artists, they're creators, they're entrepreneurs, and we do what we can to support that. So one of our programs is Arts and Chill. That's with our Greenmount West Community Artist in Residence, Christopher Johnson, who's a community artist at MICA, so finishing up his master's now. And so he does Arts and Chill as a way, at first it was in-person programming, but now with COVID, we've shifted for people to be able to pick up art supplies at the center. You know, all of this is free of charge. And if we are available, we can drop it off to you. And then you can log on with us on Zoom, or you can find a pre-recorded session and get supplies from a previous session to be able to create in your home, to still have that creativity and still be able to come together as a community, even while being safe and physically distancing.
Yeah.
Nice.
And so it is physical. So you can come to
It's physical or virtual.
Yeah.
or virtual. Okay.
Yes.
So what does it look like right now as far as the participation versus physical and virtual, I guess is what I was trying to get to.
Go ahead, Kennedy.
Yeah, so we do offer like a hybrid programming model now. Some of our offering is in person, some of it is virtual, and some of it is both. For example, we had a health and wellness program with our girls called Girls on the Run. Those who were able to make it in person came in person. And we also were on Zoom during every session. So the girls who wanted to participate virtually could also do that at every session. And then recently we came together for a 5K, and that was everyone in person, including our entire community. So community members of all ages who were welcome to come in person and engage with one another.
Yeah, yeah. What was the other piece we were discussing, Eze, connecting to this community work? It was something pressing that I know you wanted to bring to the table in reference to Greenmount West, the neighborhood, and the work that's being done and the experiences that I know you've had in the city.
No, we've already been touching on most of it. That's what I love. We kind of like jumped right into it.
We did.
Akilah, you're doing school, community, and home engagement.
Yeah.
And I think one of the things that I see with what you all are doing is the importance of collaboration, right, in the community. Can you tell us a little bit more about that work and the importance of that? Because you all are operating out of the Montessori school building, right? Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm the school community and home engagement manager. I work with our youth, our families, and our seniors. So I do direct services, programming, I facilitate our enrichment, our virtual tutoring, and I also do social prescribing. And basically what that is, it's a holistic approach to assist our seniors and give them that human connection that they need. So a lot of our seniors, they have family members, they have maybe friends, but we're constantly checking on them weekly, like, hey, how are you? Do you need anything? Do you need food? And we just provide whatever they need, whether it's toilet paper, whether they want to come in, which birthed our Baltimore Legacy Voices podcast. So it started from me doing our wellness calls. And I'm like, wow, they have a lot of information that we could actually use. So we created this entire podcast. It's on all streaming sites. It's super, super, super dope. Kennedy and I are the voices. I'm doing spoken word on there as well. And we're coming out with a season 2 specifically focused on Lexington Market, because that is one of the most historic buildings in Baltimore. Right, right. So that's gonna be.
Right, I gotta put this on my podcast list now. Right. What's it called?
Baltimore Legacy.
What's the podcast called?
Baltimore Legacy Voices.
I love the name. And on all streaming.
All streaming. Yep.
It is.
Baltimore Legacy Voices.
All right, that's the next podcast I'm listening to.
All right, thank
That's
you.
the next podcast. Yeah, definitely. That's
and
amazing.
one of the things I did want the ladies to go back to, you asked about family and family structure. What does that look like in the future? And I think it's important that they begin to talk on their experiences and working with families, and how is that impacting them as these future parents? What does that look like? What does that sound like? I think y'all need to respond to that, because you're working with so many types of people on a daily basis.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. I like the fact that it's your program seems to start with young people, but goes right into the family dynamic. So oftentimes what we do as youth services workers, and historically what happens is folks want to wrap their arms around the young people, but not address where the young people come from.
Yes.
I don't really care as much as what you doing for me if you're not connecting with what's happening with me, with the people that I care about and that I love. And so if I'm a young person, having programs and things that connect to my parental structure, my siblings, my grandparent structure is a beautiful thing. It often allows the young people to get everything that they possibly could from the program, from the services, from the engagement, when the family is connected and you're not isolating and cutting off the family just as a drop off and pick up type of thing. And when you need their signatures for field trips.
Right.
So ladies, talk about, answer those questions, because we talk about that all the time. What about family? Akilah, when you first started, you were talking about having daggone 18 children. And how has that shifted, as well for you, Kennedy, as well? What are your experiences? How is that impacting you in your future?
Awesome.
So for me, it has definitely changed my mind. Coming into the Greenmount West Community Center, I was saying that I wanted to have about 8 to 10 children, and I was going to be this super mom, and I had all these different ideas. When I came in, we started working with 30 kids, after school programming, 30 kids, summer programming, virtual, but we're not just there with the kids. We touch on the entire family system. So we're meeting their parents, their siblings, their grandparents, their aunts, their uncle, whoever's comfortable with coming to pick these kids up. And I'm like, wow, you get to deal with all the different personalities. And I'll say that in the most nicest way that I can. And it just showed me the responsibility that it takes and the type of parent that I want to be. Do I want to be that parent that allows my child to walk the street and I don't know where my child is? Do I want my child to attend some type of after school program? Do I want my child to have their needs met by adults that I can trust? And it just made me have all these different questions in my mind about school, about tuition, about after school programming, about what my kids see when they're on their phones. Are they just on their tablets all day, or am I teaching them? So it's different. It's so much. I feel like I can't even say right now, because we deal with so many different families with all different types of personalities. And it just helped me realize what type of parent that I want to be.
That you want to be. So it impacted you, but it also allows you to pivot as far as how you guys provide the love and the services that you're providing in your center, because you see the needs. So you see where you want to fill in the gaps, right? Make up the hedge in the areas where there's some room for improvement. But it also has impacted you as a human service provider, because now you're look again, the work that we do in the community is always about self.
Yeah.
The thing that we often, go away from when we're, you know, serving the community and teaching in social services, or you're a preacher, or you're a community organizer, you're an activist, we often, a nurse even, you know, roles that serve people, we all oftentimes forget to leave ourselves out of the equation. The work that we choose to do in our lives is always connected to the things that we need in our lives. So the powerful thing is a parallel process that we're always in, is how do we serve and how do we get better, is how we always are in a mirror process of looking at ourselves. So that's a powerful thing. What were you about to say, Kennedy?
Oh, I would just add, I don't feel we can talk about the future of Black families without talking about investing in Black women and girls.
Yeah. I see you guys have a tab on your website for that, a specific tab, programmatic tab. That was going to be my last question, but you're already in it right now. So talk about that programmatic tab that's on your website.
Yes, absolutely. So our latest initiative is Black Women and Girls of Maryland. We saw in our previous programming, and especially throughout COVID, that the people who need the most support, that the people who feel the least supported by city resources, by community resources, are Black women and girls of all ages. Whether they have children, whether they're single, whether they're seniors, there's a dearth of resources for Black women and girls. And so I see that, you know, as a human service provider, but also as someone who wants to be a mother and who wants to have children. But am I going to be in an environment where I feel supported, where I have resources, where I have a place where my children can go to for positive development? One thing about me personally is that I was raised in a very traditional 2-parent household. I had a community. I had my grandparents. I had people who are willing to step up and do that. It takes a village to raise a child model. I know now, being in my position, a lot of people don't have that. Yeah. And so when I think about the future of Black families, it's having strong communities where people are supported and invested in. And that means, having quality programs and services, but that also means having a financial investment, that people have money going into their communities so that they have the resources they need to thrive.
Yeah. I love that. I love that this is this discussion, because a lot of times when the issues and the needs of people come up, if it does freeze people, into inaction, because it's so deep, people dealing with addiction and mental health illness and everything, these things can make people freeze up as if it's like, they don't know what to do with it. And having that community, having that support where people are listening, I think is very important, but then taking that back and then, finding those resources. I wanted to ask you all, so we have a new administration in the city. We have a new mayor, and Kisha, you all started this in 2016. So I think by now we shouldn't have, but I think we've seen 3 mayors since y'all started.
Yes.
How much support have you gotten from the city? Is this a thing where you don't really lean on the city much? Is it, do you get support from all over? What's the relationship with your organization and City Hall?
So, I will tell you, in the beginning, I used to think that because we're doing this work, everybody would come to us and want to support us. Mm-hmm. What I found out, sorry, that's a lie. So once again, it's all about relationships. Our councilman has been very supportive of the Greenmount West Community Center. He has, Councilman Stokes has been very supportive of our work and talks about our work. It's one of those things that it is very relationship based. So we have relationships with various city agencies, but I had to grow into that. I had to grow as a leader, as a person, and understand the importance of that relationship and when to call and when to just handle it on our own. Yeah. The thing that people have to understand is, and what the young ladies won't say, is I made a very strategic decision about my leadership journey. Being a former school administrator, understanding that in a community environment, the things that I learned in that, some of that could work, but it doesn't work all the time. What I'm very very committed to is growing and teaching so that Akilah and Kennedy, when they're looking back, when they're old like Miss Kisha, they can look back on these early parts of their career and realize, wow, we worked 30 hours a week and got full-time wage. We worked, we don't work on Fridays. We get 5 weeks off vacation. We get every bank holiday. We get our birthday off. That is how we must develop human resources. It must be that level of engagement. To me, you don't need to work 40 and 50 and 60 hours to get a job done. Most of the time, people wasting time anyway. What I want them to see and what they're getting themselves used to is what type of environment do they thrive in? What do they need? I joke about this all the time. I say, I don't know, what are you all gonna do when you're back in it, and if you make the decision to move on and you're working 5 days a week and it's 40 to 50 hours a week. What is that going to do to you? And they're, they can respond, whatever you all said.
I'm not going back to that. I'm not.
I totally feel that. I think, and this is really energizing to me because I think people always think that community work is supposed to be tiring and it is, but they think that it's supposed to always be like this almost starving artist type of thing. You know what I mean? It's like, you're working 80 hours a week and nobody's hearing you, but it does not have to be like that.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's, to me, is a part of the show for this tomorrow for me. If we don't begin to move and think in abundance, the funding, we get a lot of our money comes from out of this state. It's just the way that it is. And I've learned that sometimes it takes, it's like an artist. Sometimes you got to leave home, blow up somewhere else.
Yeah.
And then when you come back home, everybody want to be on you. I'm okay with that being us. I used to fight that though. I used to say, why do we have to do this? Why does it have to be like this? But this is our journey. This is our journey as an institution. What we are very committed to doing, you all, is making sure that we are being a model for other communities. When you see things are happening and you're like, well, how do we move in this? You got to take charge. You can't wait for people to give you permission. You just got to do it. What I don't want us to do is to do this in this, we don't know how. Our ancestors have done this work.
Yeah.
What I don't want us to do is follow in the path like so many of our ancestors, where they're losing their homes, they have no money, they're suffering health-wise because they've given all of themselves to this community. I don't want us to move in that way. I don't want us to be the space where people say, oh, they'll give you the shirt off their back. No, we should not be doing that. Yeah. We should not be given at the detriment of self.
The thing about it, Ms. Webster, the thing that helped and Eze and I discuss this all the time, not only with business, but leadership, education, and also entertainment in Baltimore, is every person is not connected together, right? The unity is our superpower. Mm-hmm. If we're unified and we're all working together for common good and for common ground, right? Then it doesn't have to be a tireless type of energy. You don't have to burn yourself out to the bone. The reason why we've seen that happen is because we had great people who were pulling other people's weight. So we got to stop. Yeah. We got to stop allowing a few of us in the community to pull someone else's weight. If there's a partnership, if there's a unity out there, if we can come together and everyone can stay in their lane and their strengths can rise, then work can get done. Right. But if everybody is or have hero complex, right? So some people have hero complex. I'm saving the day because I'm started this program, or I'm the mayor, or I'm the this, or I'm the that, and I'm gonna do it all, and no one's helping me but God, and I'm great. That's not good either. You got that right. That's an ego problem. That's a selfish problem. You have to be able to build teams and build bridges together so that the work can get done. So what you guys are doing is remarkable and commendable because of that type of energy that you're building from the ground level, is that if we're all together, if we care about what we do, it'll show. The love will spread. We'll start with love and not with fear and not with haste and not with angst. We'll do everything we're doing in love. And that's how we'll get this thing done. If you're just tuning in, this is the show about tomorrow. Eze Jackson, Dermell Brunson. We're here with a wonderful team member in the community, Miss Webster, and her team providing so much in Greenmount West. And we love what you guys are doing. Tell us a little bit more about how young people, again, can get connected to your program.
Kennedy, Akilah?
Yes, I would say the biggest way for young people is Instagram. So we're on Instagram at GWCC Baltimore. You could always send us a DM. A lot of times youth will send us a message, hey, we want to film something for our poetry competition. Can we use the space at 3 o'clock? We got you, come on in. Wow. So you can definitely do that. You can find us online at greenmountwestcc.org. On Facebook, we're at GWCC Baltimore, and on Twitter, we're at _GWCC Baltimore. So you can message us on any of those channels or fill out the form on our website or give us a call at the center. Our number is 667-212-5286.
Tell them the number one more time and tell them the website and the social media one more time.
Yes, so our website is greenmountwestcc.org. On Instagram and Facebook, we're at GWCC Baltimore. On Twitter, we're at _GWCC Baltimore. And our phone number is 667-212-5286. Awesome,
awesome. Ms. Webster, the vibes that this, and I have to come check you guys out physically when it's appropriate and you guys have something and everyone's safe and comfortable, definitely. But it feels like a hybrid of a safe haven, of a rec center, of a community center, of a, it's like you guys are creating this, oasis of love and an oasis of freshness that connects people together. Tell us about you founding and the vision initially, just what sparked you into this? Let's get some more history about that.
Yeah, it was very intentional. I'm going to be very honest. I saw this as an extension of any person's home.
Wow.
And if you, we have all these young people who are dancers, so we had to have a dance studio. Yeah. We have all of these young people and seniors who love doing art and mothers and fathers and grandparents. So we have very art-focused programming. We had the screen printing studio. Our girls just created, their own design for themselves. So I wanted it to feel like an extension of your home. Whatever you thought you couldn't have, it can be here. This is your home. And so there is this ownership. The furniture is very intentional. The visual, the aesthetics of the space is very intentional. There's art throughout here. No one can ever say they grew up in a space where they didn't have art. Everywhere in this space is art, whether it's a mural, whether it is, a local artist work on the walls, very intentional. Having the library. I don't want any child to ever say, I didn't grow up around books. That's a lot because you were in the center for a majority of your development and you saw that. And it's always about, this is an extension of your home. And we've even had some families says, oh, they treat the center better than they do their own home. And that's because there is an expectation. There's an expectation. We're all held accountable here. And so I think for me, it was always about how do we make this space that serves people to not look like every space in the city that serves people. I remember being a child in Newark, and when my mother was on public assistance, I remember just looking around like, what is this place we're in? Why is it so hot in here? Everyone was just looking so sad. And I'm always like, why is it the spaces that are for people's support, why must they look so drab?
Right. Listen, I feel the same way. I often say, even if you're providing services in the community where there's dilapidation and there is need and low income and poverty, the service providers should beautify the spaces. Often thought about that when I worked in mental and behavioral health. I felt like, and I'm not calling no names, but I felt like there were centers in Baltimore who I knew were making millions of dollars to provide services in the community, and you go in a joint and it's raggedy as shit. You're like, why I gotta feel like I'm on medical assistance when I come in here, because you still getting paid and you jumping out in the bins, or your car and your mortgage is paid because you're providing these services, and you take 83 or 95 right out to where you live and only come into the city to do this work. And that's why what you're doing is beautiful, because we got to stop that in this generation. We can serve people who are asking for services, or maybe they aren't asking. Maybe we're providing because we see that there's a need, and we can do it with care. We can do it with quality. We can do it with love. It can feel good. It can smell good. Where's the candle that's lit? Where's the plug-in that's giving a nice scent when I walk in? Why does it have to feel like doom and gloom when I'm here to receive services?
Yeah, my mother used to always say, it's not where you live, it's how you live.
Yeah. We can.
And one of the things I know is I don't live far from y'all. So the other night, I was actually riding my Lime scooter through Greenmount West. And it feels like a community. You know what I mean? It feels like somebody gets out there now. And I know the city very well. So I know what Greenmount West used to look like in the 90s.
Yeah.
And what it's like now. And when you ride through there, you feel like, somebody gets out there and sweeps the alley. Somebody, you know what I mean? People are, keeping trash off their front. It's like there's this togetherness. I wanted to ask you, Kisha, when we first started talking about how you started, you mentioned your children, and that some of the people moving into the community, part of the people that they kind of had issue with were your children. How active are they still? Are they still in the community with you? What kinds of things has that experience done for them?
I think so when I'm saying my children, it's the children in the community.
Okay.
I think people were just really petty, for a lack of a better word. People would put like white powder on their steps, so that if someone sat on their steps, this white powder would be on them. It was like, who does that? Who like, who does that kind of ignorance? It's like,
wow.
I was always amazed that people would do those kind of things, or they would take the banister off so that nobody would lean against it. It was like, you would defame your own home so that somebody if you don't want them on your stoop, just say, please don't sit on my stoop. But we all know that if you're in a community where there's a bunch of row homes and people outside, they're gonna sit on everybody's stoop.
Yeah.
And I just saw that security. I was like, hey, how y'all doing? When I would come home from work, I was like, okay, thank y'all for protecting my house today. I got to know people. But everybody doesn't move like I do. And I had to learn that. I will tell you, sadly, because of the level of gentrification that has happened in this community, we've lost so many families. And when I think about where those children and their families are living now, they are really going through.
Wow.
And so it is very intentional of this pushing out people, and they're pushing them out. If they're not going either to Harper County, they're going to Northeast. And so it's just seeing how the community is shifting for the good, but also problematically. And I'm just trying to, while I'm in this space and have this voice, I'm trying to get people to understand that we can grow together. It doesn't just have to be your house, your $500,000 house that's right across from us. I'm looking at the beer garden that's about to open up in this community. People don't expect to have a community center of this nature here, because in their mind, we don't need that. But we know that our services are needed, our services are respected. And you just got to know how to navigate with these people, because they're very, it's a lot of smoke and mirrors that are going on around us. And you have to know how to use your level of discernment to really know who's there for community and who's there for show. And we do have some people who look like me who are here for show.
Yeah.
And what I feel it is my responsibility is to call it and to model it. And sometimes you got to call things when you don't want to, and you're going to be on the outs. And so when you talk about government and relationships, that's that line you gotta walk, because you don't, I just feel you're gonna have to say some things that need to be said, and if people don't like it, go rinse your mouth out with some mouthwash and keep it moving. I ain't got the time. Just
hilarious.
Keep moving.
And I think what you're doing, Ms. Webster, and what you're doing, Akilah and Kennedy, you guys are leading by example. You're in the work. You identify the indicators. You identify the factors, the stressors, and you're spreading, this joy and this love and this way of connecting with people that treats folks like they're your family. How would you want someone to treat you? How would you want someone to treat your family members, your kids? How would you want that to look? You said something that touched me, and I know Eze and I discussed some current events, but before we get to the current events that's happening and get you guys' take on them, I want to get something from each of you on the real impacts of gentrification in a city like Baltimore, because you mentioned a couple of places that we know long where folks have been moved to. Years ago was Baltimore County, that turned into Howard, parts of Anne Arundel, Harford County, right? You just mentioned Northeast Baltimore being moved that way. What are you guys seeing as folks, boots on the ground, so to speak, in the community, relationships with the families for the last 5 years in this work? Tell us some more, and tell our listeners and viewers and folks that'll see these clips, what does that look like for you guys?
I know for me, I'm seeing our families that have been pushed out, who have been kicked out. Like, we had a family that were given a week to leave, a week. And some of these homeowners who are doing, they don't have leases. And in our minds, for some of our families, because you're in crisis mode, you go in and say, okay, I'm gonna do this. But they don't realize the ramifications when you don't have something in writing.
Wow.
So we had a family had been here, mother had been here since she was 12, 5 children. They had a week to get out of their home.
What did they expect them to do in a week? What was the communication like?
They didn't care, because they saw that the community was shifting. And so many people were owning these homes, and in their mind, I'm providing affordable housing. Okay. To know that you were given this short amount of time, because they realized that the real estate value was getting high. And so they're like, we got to make this money. And I'm just watching this one family in particular. They have been, when you've had a foundation, a home for 20 years, your children have been in that space. And now you've been pushed out. And I've seen how these children and the mother and the grandmother, how they have been impacted. This mother has moved 5 different times since then.
Wow.
Her 5 children, because she still cannot find housing. That's some real stuff. And then our children who are no longer living in this community, they were mild-mannered in this community. Now they move to other communities that are a bit more intense, and they don't have that, they don't know how to navigate in that, because they didn't grow up in it.
Yeah.
Now they getting records. Now now they robbed it. Now they're doing that wasn't who they were. And we're right on North Avenue, but this community, they were insulated. Sure. It was an insulated community. And I'm realizing that all of our young people have been pushed out. Their families are struggling. They are struggling. And that's what I'm seeing. I'm seeing that side of what push out does, what kick out does. Because that's not even push out. It was kick out. What kick out does. And so one of my greatest pains, and I've said this to the team, I wish that I would have known the importance of us purchasing property, because that's what we should have done. We should have purchased properties in this community to keep families who want to be here in this community. To me, that's the tomorrow. That's how nonprofits are going to have to work, especially Black-led. They're going to have to do this work in a very bold and innovative way. You're going to have to think about what we did historically, whether you're talking about Oklahoma, the Black Wall Street there, North Carolina, and Raleigh. those areas where Black people were owning property, we got to do that same thing and provide housing so that people who want to stay in these communities are given that opportunity. And we got to begin to tax, our city government has to begin to tax people who are coming in here in their mind, oh, I've got the best of both worlds, you know, I got this beautiful home. I could never get this in DC and Montgomery County at this price, but they want county life in the city, so they don't want to hear noise. They don't want, I'm like, who are you? Who are you? Y'all better blast that music. They always have cookouts here. Who are you?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So
And the flip side of that a lot of people don't talk about too is the adjustment for the families being kicked out and placed in those situations. You know what I mean? So we think about, you know, if somebody's moved from, they go from the city to affordable housing in Harford County or Columbia, we automatically assume they're in a better situation. But no, now you're in a situation where it's very classist. You know what I'm saying? So because you live in a certain housing complex, you're associated with certain people, and now you're policed differently. You know, and a lot of people don't realize that, like, housing complexes in the county are policed differently. You know what I mean? They have, they have extra surveillance on them and all these kinds of things. So now they're being put into a totally, sometimes an even more toxic environment than it was had they been living in the city.
And
access issues because of limited transportation.
I mean, I was an assistant principal in Anne Arundel County, and I was in, you know, the West area, so Meade Village, all of that, and most of my families, you know, first they said, well, Kisha, because you live in Baltimore City, anytime, you know, I'm gonna let you deal with the Meade Village community, and I'm like, okay, whatever. But what I realized is that most of our families who were there came from two areas, either Baltimore City or DC. And those families complain because that Meade Village is only one way in and is only one way out. And it just became this community of pain. It was not joy for people. And I'm like, man, you thinking you leaving the city, you leaving the county, you leaving DC for a better life. This is not better. This is worse. Yeah. And as you said, they don't even have public transportation. They don't really go up in no hat. You can't do this in Anne Arundel County.
No.
Oh no, not at all. You
was in trouble. You was in trouble. You walking a few miles before you get to that.
Right, you better get left and right. Just have them keep moving, but you ain't get no hat.
Yeah. And so it just really pushes us, this conversation. Thank you guys again for being, you know, guests today on the show about tomorrow and speaking about the work in Greenmount West and exactly how you see building a community from your nestled place that you've built. And I love how you said that you wanted to feel like home. You wanted to feel like, you know, artistic stimulation. You wanted to feel like these intentional choices with furniture and environment and the soap dispenser and flowers and I know it. Look, I ain't even been in there, and I know you got stuff like that with the soap dispensers because I can feel the energy, and I know that that's what you're building. It's a beautiful thing, and you know.
Dermell brought up the candles. He a sucker for candles. Dermell keep good smelling candles in the studio, in the office, and in the house.
I will spray some lavender.
Yes, lavender.
Wherever you meet Dermell at, it's going to smell like the church lady secretary office. It's like homely in there. It feels good.
Vanilla, with the vanilla, it's real soft.
Yes. They even laugh about me.
Make you want to take a nap and put on some music.
Right.
Hey, I even got poopery in the bathroom, so you can spray that in the toilet.
All of that.
We gotta
have that.
All that.
Because again, it's like you said, environment creates feelings.
Yeah.
Environment creates feelings. What you see, what you smell, what you hear, it creates your feeling. And so how can we lead, build, train our young people and dismiss their experience with environment? How can we expect them to see something that they can't see? Because without vision, people perish. So you got to be able to see, have some examples of what it is that you want to see for yourself some kind of way, in a book, on a show, and your teacher, your educator, your coach. Somebody has to introduce you to the fact that you can have this in your environment if you choose to have it, right?
That brings me, I wanted to ask Akilah and Kennedy, because I know, Akilah, you talked about spoken word, you do spoken word. You as well, Kennedy, spoken word, or?
Oh, no, I don't do spoken word. We are all artists in our own way, own staff. So
Okay.
I create zines, I model, and I'm going to school for social design in the fall.
Awesome. Congratulations. Yeah, so I wanted to ask you two, what experiences did you have growing up as a young artist in Baltimore City? Because I think sometimes, or sometimes it doesn't, sometimes it doesn't, but sometimes that influences the work that we end up doing as adults.
I know as a child, my grandmother, she enrolled me in ballet. So I used to dance as well. I did jazz, I did ballet, I did tap. And then in elementary school, I did my first talent show in 3rd grade. So I started rapping and singing and writing then. So it started in school, in my elementary school, and I went to Arlington Elementary School.
Okay.
I'm from Park Heights, so the west side.
Yay, let's go west side.
Yes, let's go.
That's where I started.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah, so I grew up dancing at Peabody, doing ballet and modern. Later, I went to Baltimore School for the Arts, where I also did dance. Yes, yeah. So I definitely grew up in the Baltimore arts community, and it always made sense. I always knew I wanted to work in some sort of arts environment with Black people. So to be here at Greenmount West is like, this is ideal.
And one thing too that I love about the culture that Miss Kisha created, she always tells Kennedy and I to bring the fullness of ourselves. So everything that we do, like she'll tell me like, no, I need you to be in the Akilah Divine mode right now. I need you to act like this. And I'm like, all right, I got to learn how to put these things together and use all of me. So she's like, okay, you like cooking? That's how Chef It Up came about. Okay, Kennedy, you like doing social media? You do the website, you do our Instagram page, and we have to use our skills and abilities that we already have and bring it to work with us outside of just, okay, I'm doing social work and working with families.
Sure.
So we have to use our whole being here.
Sure.
And I appreciate it.
Yeah, I love it.
It's a good place. That sounds like a good place to work and good place to grow. And if you're a person experiencing the love of this community center, please, go check it out. One of you again, please, as we're getting ready to head on out for today, tell folks again where they could get to you.
Yes, I'll do it one more time. So Instagram and Facebook, we're at GWCC Baltimore. Twitter, we're at _GWCC Baltimore. Our website is greenmountwestcc.org. And you can call us at 667-212-5286. That's 667-212-5286. I feel like I'm on an infomercial.
I love it.
Great. And guess what? I love you doing it every time because you have it. You're going to school for you understand. You gotta go. You gotta give it to them. You gotta put the cookies where the kids can reach them. They gotta be able to receive it. And
then the podcast. Because I got it queued up. I'm going to check out this Baltimore Legacy Voices podcast. There's season 1 up. I'm looking right here. There's season 1 up, and you said season 2 is coming.
Yes, that's coming soon in the summer.
Okay, I'm ready.
Look at it. This is great. This is great, man. Greenmount West Community Center Foundation. It's been a joy and a privilege and an honor to talk to you guys today. Miss Webster, God bless you. And as a founder, as a visionary, Godspeed to all three of you with all the wonderful work you're doing. Impacting lives. Yes. Impacting lives. It's not just getting up and going throughout your day and not touching the lives of others. What you guys are doing are touching the lives of people in Baltimore, and it shapes the better tomorrow of what we see today. Needs our love, it needs our support, it needs our attention, and it needs our passion. And I definitely, Ms. Webster, just hearing you talk, we got to get you some public speaking engagements because you got the passion that comes from you when you talk about this work it makes you feel on fire just to hear and to see the vision in your eyes. I'm just so glad that met you. We have to figure out ways that LTYC could support and partner with Greenmount. I definitely know when things are comfortable, we want to be on the hook for buses and anywhere you guys want to go and take a group of kids when that's back safe again. Because I heard you mention cultural experiences and field trips, especially for the arts, which is my passion and love. I would love for LTYC to support and sponsor a group of your kids and families to do something cultural in the community, get them to another environment that they haven't seen before, because you guys are doing that wonderful work. It's precious.
Thank you so very much. Be ready. Be ready.
Yes. Well, I'm ready. I can't wait for that one because that's going to be cool. I like that.
All right.
Easy. Anything we want to leave out with before we say goodbye to the people?
I think I'm good. I also want to thank y'all, for coming on. It's been really great. Everybody's got the information to keep following. I'm most excited to listen to the podcast and tune in. So hopefully we can see you a lot more and do more stuff together for sure.
100%. Thank you guys. Show about tomorrow. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for checking us. Thanks for checking in with the center. And we want to spread love and spread peace. Everybody continue to be safe, wash your hands, social distance, even with vaccines. Still be careful about the folks you interact with and take care of yourselves and have a good weekend. The summer's happening. Kentucky Derby happening. Are they going to do the Preakness?
Yeah, they are. D Nice is coming.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Okay. They're going to have D Nice up in there. Okay.
It's like D Nice, 2 Chainz, and somebody else. They shooting for they shooting for the older crowd.
That's great.
I see. Have fun.
That's great. We got to get back out there. We can't be cooped up. It's time. Give us free. Give us free. Have a great day. Thank you guys for tuning in.
Take care. All right, bye-bye.